So there I was on the platform, you know, feeling like an out-of-body experience. And then his speech, which was a cry from the white nationalist gut.
This American carnage stops.
What an opportunity to say, okay, I'm proud of my supporters, but I'm the president of all Americans. That's not what we heard at all.
What happened, Hillary? You happened. You blamed and continue to blame literally everyone. But funny thing is, you had a whole lot of help from, well, Obama, Michelle, Joe Biden, Don Brazil, Debbie Washington Schultz, the DNC, the FBI, 90% of the mainstream media, every late night TV show, and the entire population of Hollywood loudmouths, and you still lost. You lost because you're as relatable as cardboard and allergic to accountability. And no, it's not because the country wasn't ready for a woman. It's because the country isn't ready for a liar or an entitled political princess. So don't start with the sexism charade again.
Yeah, I listened to the speech. He talked all about how we need to rebuild our inner cities, which are not primarily white, as you know. How is that a white nationalist speech?
Because we know what Donald Trump was actually hearkening to was that urban cities are nothing but forgotten places where African Americans are nothing but criminals. It's why when he made the comments coming down the elevator, or escalator rather, at Trump Tower, he talked about Mexicans were rapists.
Hold on. Mexican immigrants and Americans who live in inner cities are two different groups. He's saying, I mean, I watched the speech. Whatever you think of what he's done or whatever, he was saying, look, these places have been ignored. They're run entirely by Democrats, as you know, as vote farms.
Which Republicans have made sure to ensure that Democrats couldn't vote.
They're run by Democrats. They're super depressing. They're horrible. And here's Trump is saying, like, let's fix these places. And that's white nationalism?
Well,
kind of a weird version of white nationalism.
Let's not pretend that Donald Trump really wants to fix the problems that ail Chicago.
Why would he say it?
Because he's hearkening back to
the Klan wants to hear him talk about how we need to send more money to Detroit?
So, Clay, what exactly does that mean we've addressed it with an anchor? Is that punishment?
It means that nothing actually happened because Jemele Hill is saying what the higher-ups at ESPN believe. I think this goes all the way to the top, Tucker. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, follows 59 people on Twitter. One of them is Jemele Hill. And I think what has happened is Disney and ESPN have decided we want to be a left-wing sports network. And so if a guy like Curt Schilling comes out and he says, oh, I disagree with the North Carolina transgender bathroom law, he gets fired. If a guy like Mike Ditka says, I don't think Barack Obama was a good president and I'm voting for Donald Trump, he gets fired. But if Jemele Hill comes out and says that Donald Trump's a white supremacist, the only reason he got elected president is because he's white and that all of his supporters are effectively bigots, she gets rewarded. She gets wrapped on the knuckles. She continues to do her show because Bob Iger and John Skipper, the CEO of Disney and the president of ESPN, agree with her. Look at ESPN's ratings. They're collapsing. Another idea would be look at their business model. They've lost 13 million subscribers in the past few years, and they're alienating their core audience, which is guys and girls who just want to pop a beer and watch a football game. They don't want to hear that Colin Kaepernick is a modern-day Rosa Parks. They don't want to hear, Tucker, that someone like Caitlyn Jenner is a hero that everyone should aspire to be, or that Michael Sam, because he likes to sleep with men, is a modern-day Jackie Robinson. Those are things that ESPN wants to sell. That's why I call them MS ESPN. And look, no, it's not a strong business strategy. I always like to point to Michael Jordan, guy who became a billionaire because he's good at putting a ball in a basket and good at dunking the basketball. You remember what he said? Republicans buy sneakers, too.
If you're a government employee, there are prohibitions on engaging in political campaigns. So what happened was there was a report from the Office of Special Counsel, not to be confused with Robert Mueller. This is the Office of Special Counsel inside the Department of Justice that was investigating or is investigating James Comey's activity for exactly what you just said just moments ago, this kind of intervention in the campaign last year. And that could include being barred for up to 5 years from federal service. It can include fines and penalties. But it points to something deeper. There's also an Inspector General's investigation going on right now as to James Comey as well. In addition to that, you've got Senator Graham saying last week he smelled a rat in the fact that the declination letter, and that's what it was, regarding the whole Hillary Clinton email situation was written at least 2, maybe 3 months before they interviewed 16 witnesses, including the target.
It has to begin by looking closely at James Comey, who appears to have testified falsely under oath. When he was asked by the House Judiciary Committee, did you determine not to prosecute Hillary Clinton before or after you interviewed her? And he said afterwards. Well, it's now emerged that he wrote a statement of exoneration of Clinton 2 months before he interviewed her and top aide. So that would appear to be false testimony by Comey, and it would also appear that his entire investigation of Hillary Clinton was nothing more than a charade. I know all there is to know
about the crying. So, Hillary, how's life? How have you been?
I think I am good, but that doesn't mean that I am complacent or resolved about what happened. It still is very painful. It hurts a lot.
Okay, then, let's move on to something else. Many Americans are wondering why you waited until the next afternoon to give your concession speech instead of election night, after it was clear that you had been defeated.
I had not drafted a concession speech. I'd been working on a victory speech.
She was so sure that she was going to win. The arrogance of this demon is just astounding. Now, Hillary, we've heard you blame just about everyone and everything for your loss, except for yourself. From fake news to the Russians to James Comey. Is there anybody else you'd like to add to that list?
Millions of white people. Yeah, millions of white people.
Hillary eviscerates Bernie. She blames him for the loss. Has she missed anyone to blame? How about Bill offsetting Trump's misogyny?
Is your political career over?
Yes. As an active politician, it's over.
You will never be a candidate for office.
I am done with being a candidate.
That's all, folks.
Aha! Aha! What do you know from funny, you